My love, it's getting late, but do you mind if I do a video?
Alright, go ahead.
Thanks. You know, I wasn't going to, but this guy named Terry Marks has done like 5 videos already today, and
Really?
I feel guilty if I don't do one, so I'm going to try to do one. Mabuhay, Kamustika, this is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. I have an important video. It's important to me because we're going to talk about, was it worth marrying a Filipina? A guy at work who was aware of my dating Isa online and who suggested that I marry a woman from a third world country. He's from Ethiopia. He said they've got good women there, and have you ever considered that? I hadn't considered going 50 miles outside of where I live because I didn't want to spend all this time going back and forth. But at one point I decided it was probably the Philippines or nothing if I was going to find a wife. Now, it wasn't cheap. As you know, finding someone from another country, you go through immigration, there's travel involved, but I had no choice. It was remain single, which I felt I could not do, or do whatever it would cost to get married. And there was a cost, and I'll tell you what that was. Joining the dating website I was on, I went for what they call an unlimited membership. It lasts me the rest of my life. Nobody wants to spend 15 years looking for a wife, but I didn't know I was going to find somebody in 8 weeks and be married in 8 weeks. So that was like $1,200. You know, I did everything because I wanted to give myself the best chance. Was it worth it? Absolutely. Now, when you get married and we did a spousal visa, initially there's a $420 fee called a petition submittal fee. I have to petition her to come here. That goes to the Department of Homeland Security, $420. There's another $130 processing fee sponsorship to the National Visa Center, a $325 immigrant visa fee, also to the National Visa Center, and I think I paid those pretty much up front. I hired somebody, which I didn't write here. That was another cost. I think I paid him almost $1,000 to help me because I told him, you know, I don't even do my own taxes. I don't trust myself with something this big. It's not something you are required to do. I just felt better about it, and I wanted to focus on my wife and not end up arguing about, you know, what went wrong or did you do that or so on. So that was something I did that added to the cost. Green card issuance fee, $165 to USCIS, and I can't remember what that stands for. Now, just a few months ago, we paid $680 to renew her green card. It's only good for like 2 years, so you know, we plan on renewing that before 2 years, and so that was $680. There's going to be a fee when she becomes a citizen, I'm sure, so that's coming up. There was also a $50 Senamar fee and a trip to Manila that I had to go to. Is there something wrong, sweetie? I was just talking about the Senamar.
It's not Senamar, hon.
It isn't?
It's legal capacity to marry.
Legal capacity to marry, $50, isn't that the same thing?
No.
Why not?
I mean, like, the thought is pretty similar, but the term is different. For you is
legal capacity to marry.
Legal capacity to marry, which you can get in the U.S. Embassy. Certificate of no marriage, that's for me.
Okay.
And when we start, you know, when we are going to submit our documents, so I have to get certificate of no marriage. That's
we both had to. Yeah, we both had
documents to certify that I never been married.
Yeah. Now, I guess other countries have these documents. We don't have that in the United States. So I had to go to Manila and raise my hand and swear that I was not married at the time. And actually, we kind of got in trouble with this while she was getting interviewed. Since we already had the Senamar for her, we figured that was good enough, but something happened and they needed, I guess, an updated Senamar when she went to the interview in case she had gotten married to somebody else before the interview. So That was crazy, but that was over with, and that's a topic for another day. In addition to those costs, there was my flight to go meet her. Originally, that was supposed to be $3,000, and I thought, well, it's just way too high. So I went to a travel agency like a week later, and it was $2,000. And that's 4 flights from Nebraska to, I think it was Colorado, Colorado to Los Angeles to Manila, Manila to Davao City. About a day and a half travel. Not much sleep either for me. I had a condo that my wife found for me nearby, which was a really nice place. And I gave them money for gifts, not a dowry, just gifts for the family, to show my appreciation. We went out to the mall, and that was fun. Our wedding, well, we wanted kind of, what we got was kind of a big wedding, and it kept getting bigger. That was probably $1,500, which if you want a really grand wedding, it's probably going to cost that much. It could probably cost even more. We had a videographer. My wife took care of all these details. Food, I killed a couple pigs, but there was other food, an MC, the resort that we stayed at, and the honeymoon. Well, that was an additional cost. Eden Nature's Park. If you're in the Davao area, I would certainly recommend that. I thought it was great. Now I had to also pay for a flight for Isa to come here in January of 2016 to stay here. Now, I don't know what that is. $9,000. Is that too much money to find happiness? It's gone really well. Now, you can spend that kind of money on a couple of trips, I don't know, by yourself somewhere, or a really overly expensive vehicle, something like that maybe you don't need. There's ways, if you really want to save some money or cut back, work overtime, whatever you have to do to come up with this money, because it is going to cost something. But is it worth it? I think so, because in the many years before I found her, it wasn't always this way, but often I was depressed, I was miserable, I felt stressed out, didn't sleep well, very frustrated, very lonely, sexually frustrated, confused. Was this ever going to end? Why is it even happening? Angry. All of this caused less focus. Church was hard and impossible at some times. I just couldn't go. I'd go to church and somebody seemed to always sit in front of me, put their arm around their wife or their girlfriend, and that was it. I checked out mentally at that point. I'd go back some other time and the same thing would happen. I just couldn't deal with it. Not very cheerful, unfulfilled, somewhat lacking direction. I felt like I was just kind of running in place, sometimes sinking in quicksand even. I was certainly didn't want to travel and see other couples together. But now that I've been married to my amazing Isa, for the most part, you probably never get the impression I ever was depressed, because I generally seem very happy. And I am with my wife. I'm fulfilled, I'm happy, I'm much more at ease. Even though my blood pressure isn't low, I certainly feel more at ease with her. I have purpose now in my life. I have a clear direction. I have a vision for it. My life revolves around my wife, making her life better. And church is easy now. I don't look at other couples at church, restaurants, whether we go traveling. It's irrelevant to me. I think about my wife. I have my partner. It doesn't matter if anybody else has theirs. It doesn't bother me. I smile more. I love to travel. I never did that really much before because it was too hard. Now I love it, and we plan to go somewhere every year. Maybe not internationally, but at least see something new in the United States. Being married has helped me to become less selfish as well. Basically, I feel like a man. Now, I've never felt nervous with this woman, never felt uncomfortable with her. The first time I met her and we were together, I felt like I had known her my whole life. We've been communicating about 4 hours a day on the internet, but I still wondered how I would feel when I met her in Manila, when I got married, when I was together. And it felt the first day like it feels now, 2.5 years later. Perfectly normal. My wife has made me forget about those 30 years. In fact, I remember watching a DVD of our wedding a few weeks ago, and that's what she said she was going to do. and she has. I've forgotten all about it. Now, I hurt when my wife hurts. One of my jobs is to protect her, to build her up. And I rejoice when she rejoices. The things that are important to her, I try to make important to me. So, was it worth it? Yes, absolutely. You can't put a dollar value on happiness and peace and contentment and purpose. How do you put a dollar value on that? I have intimacy now. I don't have really any fears. I don't feel like I'm starving for companionship. Life is so much better with the same woman. I know a lot of people feel that they have a different woman all the time. That's a good thing. You don't build up any quality of a relationship if you do that. Eyes and I, our relationship is better now than it was 2.5 years ago. And I think 5, 10, 15 years later, I hope we can still say that, and I think we probably will. So being with the same person allows you to get to know them better. Intimately in the Bible, that's called knowing one another, and we continue to get to know each other better and better. With this woman, after a long, hard day, I can fall asleep with her, talking in the dark, head to head, cheek to cheek, hand in hand. There's nothing better than that. Is it worth it to be able to do that night after night, year after year, hopefully decade after decade? It gets more valuable as time goes on. This investment I've made in my wife by paying these costs up front, now all I get to do is just enjoy my relationship with my Filipina. So no money, no amount of money could possibly replace the love I found beyond the sea.